Hi, my name is Rani and I live in a small village in India. Tragedy struck on the day I was born. My mom passed away just moments after I came into this world. As a result, the entire family blamed me for the misfortune. I faced constant judgment and neglect from my extended family, who believed I was a harbinger of bad luck. But my dad, full of love and strength, protected me from their unkindness, raising me with unwavering care. He took me to a new village far from his family, seeking a fresh start. There, he worked tirelessly as a postman, providing for us both, while I spent my days exploring the unfamiliar surroundings. Sadly, there weren't any girls of my age. The only children were boisterous boys. I had no option but to be friends with them. When I turned 8, my dad enrolled me to a new school nearby. I was so excited. I walked alongside the teacher with my dad's proud smile in my head. It was my first day at a real school, a place where I hoped to find friends and learn exciting things. But when the teacher opened the classroom door, my excitement quickly turned into disappointment. The room was loud with unfamiliar voices, but what struck me most was the lack of anything pink, sparkly, or feminine. Desks were filled with boys, their laughter like chirping sparrow. There were no girls, no braids, no giggles to ease my nervousness. Disappointment hit me hard, like a sudden wave stealing the joy from my smile. My stomach lurched, the excitement turning into dread. This wasn't the wonderful place I had imagined. It was different. Once again, there were no girls. But what could I do? I had no option but to accept what I got. Luckily, the guys weren't that bad. I befriended them. Sunny and Moa became my best buddies. They treated me well and allowed me to play with them. Except for one boy named Jay. He sat in the corner and just stared without saying anything. I ignored him instantly because everyone else was nice to me. Sunny and Moa were the bullies. They fought with other kids and ate their lunches. Slowly, I became involved with them. They also taught me how to go under the seats and slowly untie the shoelaces of other kids so when they stood up, they would fall. Can't deny, I enjoyed it. A year went by and I did great in both studies and sports, making my dad really proud. However, day by day, I found myself unconsciously adopting behavior more typical of boys. Surrounded mostly by boys, I had little exposure to typical girl stuff. Even my friends began treating me like one of the guys. I eagerly jumped into every fights and mischiefs that came my way, feeling more at home in the newfound persona. Soon after, I became the queen of bullies, enjoying bullying kids in school along with Sunny and Moa. One fine morning, the bell rang, and I left the class holding my notebooks like prized possession. I noticed the quiet kid always tucked away in the corner, almost invisible among the rowdy boys. An urge to tease him bubbled up inside me. With a mischievous glint in my eye, I charged at him, my notebooks turning into makeshift missiles. But unlike others, he didn't flinch as they hit him. The pages fluttered around him like startled birds. My laughter filled the hallway, but as it faded, an eerie silence settled. He slowly turned, and I froze. Blood dripped down his forehead, his eyes wide and shocked, and then something else, a glint of defiance. His scream pierced the silence echoing off the lockers. My courage flattered. He wasn't just a target anymore. He was someone who fought back, and I was suddenly on the wrong side of the battle. Teachers rushed the bleeding boy to the clinic, their faces stern. The hallway spun as his screams echoed off the lockers. My laughter turned to a cough. This wasn't a playground scuffle anymore. It was a nightmare I had caused. Fear gripped me. The next day, guilt kept me in bed. School felt like a minefield. Dad was summoned to school. When he returned, I could see disappointment in his eyes. I couldn't meet his gaze but listen to what he had to say. "I think I failed to raise you right. This wouldn't have happened if your mom was here," he said. His words showed me the monster I'd become. The absence of my mom, once a distant pain, now felt like a wound. My heart sank and I burst into tears. Seeing me cry, Dad sighed and held me in his arms. All right now. Listen to me carefully. Forget about everything. I want you to apologize to your friend as soon as you go to school. And from now on, you should behave like a nice girl, alright?" I nodded. The incident changed me for the better. I started focusing more on my studies. I didn't want to disappoint my dad again. I stopped hanging out with my friends. The boys, noticing the change, gradually distanced themselves, leaving me yearning for female companionship. Years passed and I entered adolescence. I became the class monitor. I enjoyed a sense of authority but felt increasingly isolated. Most boys, including my friends, started getting annoyed and even hating me. But I cared the least because I was every teacher's favorite. One morning, rain was heavy, turning the street into rivers and soaking me. When I got to my math class, I looked like a drowned rat. my hair stuck to my forehead and my clothes clinging to me. Just as I sat down, the teacher left for an urgent meeting saying, Rani is in charge. I felt proud as I walked to the front of the class, enjoying the silence that followed. But suddenly a voice screamed, Ew, what's that on your back? My heart sank as I realized there was a stain on my clothes. It wasn't rainwater, it was something else. I felt panic and shame as everyone stared at me. My confidence shattered. Gasps filled the classroom, and everyone stared at me as if I had grown horns. I felt panic surge through me. I turned and saw the red stain on my back, realizing it was something else. Laughter erupted, and people started calling me names. I felt ashamed and wanted to disappear. Tears welled up, and I stood there humiliated and alone. I felt ashamed and embarrassed as laughter mocked me. I ran to the bathroom. Inside, I realized the harsh reality of my situation. Tears blurred my vision. This wasn't just a small injury, it was a big moment of humiliation. I couldn't think of any other option but to wait until school was over. Time passed slowly. When the final bell rang, signaling the end of the day, I sat there for a few more minutes, waiting for everyone to leave. When the air felt silent, I slowly stood up and came out. I walked slowly towards my classroom. Suddenly, a voice startled me. I looked back. It was him, the quiet boy I barely noticed, holding out a large, pristine handkerchief. Here, he murmured, use it. His kindness offered without judgment shocked me. I stood still for a few seconds, then I took the handkerchief. His simple act of kindness was a lifeline, offering me a bit of comfort in a moment of distress. With the handkerchief tight in my hand, I went to the washroom. Once I was done, I slowly came out. The shy boy wasn't there anymore. I felt a pang of disappointment amidst my shame. Then I came out of the school. At the gate, I was surprised to see Moa and Sunny too. They seemed awkward and hesitant. Sunny, the leader, avoided my eyes. Even Moa, the prankster, was subdued. Something caught my attention. My bag, usually thrown carelessly, was being held by the shy boy, standing at the edge of the group. He briefly met my eyes, his expressions unreadable before he looked away. Confusion mixed with caution. Why were they here? With my bag? Their silence was uncomfortable until Sunny mumbled, we saw you come out of the bathroom and thought you might need these. He reluctantly handed me his shirt. My heart skipped. Shame still burned, but a glimmer of warmth emerged. They cared. Tentatively, I took the shirt. My eyes on the shy boy, a faint smile played on his lips, barely there, but a sign of unexpected kindness. Maybe this wasn't the end. Maybe amidst the mockery there was a fragile bridge of understanding waiting to be crossed. With trembling smile, I accepted their help, stepping towards a future with more questions than answers, but also against all odds, a glimmer of hope. The walk home was quiet after the chaos earlier. Each step felt heavy with shame and surprising turn of events. Sunny avoided my gaze, Moa shuffled his feet, and the shy boy kept his distance, watching over me silently. Sunny's shirt, worn but familiar, felt like a shield from judgment. It reminded me of our bond, buried under the recent hurt. Accepting it felt like accepting forgiveness, even if unspoken. When I reached home, I hesitated. Gratitude clashed with my desire to hide. Finally, I turned to my friends and croaked, "Thank you." Relief washed over their faces, and a silent understanding passed between us. Their kindness had unexpectedly saved me from what I thought would be the worst day of my life. With a nod, I went inside. Their fading footsteps echoed in the quiet. Inside, tears flowed freely. The day had been tough, but it had also shown me that even in the darkest time, there could be unexpected allies offering hope. My friends, flawed yet compassionate, had given me strength to face an uncertain event. At home, the bathroom became my refuge, a place where I could process the day's troubles in private. I felt shame, fear, and loneliness, and the absence of my mother felt more pronounced than ever. I couldn't imagine sharing these feelings with Dad. I was sure he wouldn't understand. Later that day, Dad came home looking happier than he had in years. It was so good to see him that happy. Holding my hand, he told me the big news. He had met someone and they wanted to get married. She wanted to be my new mom. Each word felt heavy, like a chisel against my life's foundation. "That's great," I managed to say, but the word felt rough, hiding the turmoil inside me. Alone in my room, sleep was impossible. I imagined this was new woman invading our private world. Could she understand our bond, our grief? Could I even accept her as a mom? I resolved not to passively accept this change. I would confront it, understand it, and find my way through this uncertain future, even if it meant facing it alone. The morning sun filled my room with soft colors, and despite feeling tired from yesterday's challenge, I got out of the bed. Eating to the bathroom, I panicked again at the sight of more blood, a reminder of my unpreparedness. Just then, Dad came looking after me for breakfast. "Dad, I'm in the bathroom," I said, my voice tinged with urgency. When I emerged, Dad was there. He stood there silent. Fear gripped me, the weight of the situation shaking me. Dad's expression spoke volumes. "God," he exclaimed, capturing the shock we both felt. His eyes searched mine, seeking answers I didn't have. With a shaky yes, I tried to shield myself from the overwhelming emotions. Dad left, leaving me to face the crimson stain on my bedsheet, a silent declaration of the unwelcome change. The thought of going to school felt impossible in my current state. I craved normalcy in this tumultuous situation. I busied myself with cleaning, trying to erase the evidence and the fear. Dad's voice calling me for breakfast felt distant, drowned out by the sound of rushing water. We ate in silence, the air heavy with unspoken questions and anxieties. Dad asked meeting his fiancée for help, the woman who represented my first future. I defiantly refused. My anger towards the situation burned bright. But then he offered me a soft handkerchief, a simple gesture that sparked a memory. The shy guy who had once offered me the same, a flicker of humor amidst my pain. The weight of the handkerchief in my hand made me wonder if it was a sign. Could it be a bridge to understanding and acceptance? With that thought, I knew I couldn't deny reality forever. The path ahead was unclear, but I was ready to face it. One uncertain step at a time, perhaps even finding a new kind of family along the way. The next day, I braced myself for the worst, expecting whispers and pointed stares. But to my surprise, everyone was normal and friendly. Feeling guilty of my recent behavior, I appreciated their resilience and good nature. I thanked them for their support, and we decided to revive our old after-school routine, rebuilding our almost lost friendship. Approaching the shy boy, I was unsure how to express my gratitude. He offered me a smile and said, "You can come to me anytime. I'll try to help you." His words contrasted with his hesitant demeanor, and I realized his quietness might be due to the fear of ridicule. My friends then joined us, asking friendly questions and drawing him out of his shell. It was a beautiful sight to see. I wondered why things hadn't been like this from the start, why we had built the walls instead of bridges. The answer settled heavily on my heart: fear, ignorance, and the need to belong. Emboldened by the newfound clarity, I proposed a trip to his house after school. To my surprise, he didn't flinch. Maybe this marked the beginning of a different kind of belonging, one where everyone had a voice, a story, and a place to call home. And maybe, just maybe, the shy boy wouldn't be shy anymore. As we walked away, his laughter joined the symphony of chatter, becoming the soundtrack to a future filled with unexpected friendship and the promise of something wonderful. Stepping into the shy boy's house, we were greeted by an unexpected sight. His aunt, not a stern or reclusive figure, but someone who radiated warmth and vibrancy. Laughter filled the air as my friends engaged with him, a stark contrast to his usual quiet demeanor. Drawn to his aunt's kind energy, I drifted towards the kitchen to find her bustling about preparing snacks. "Would you like to help me, dear?" she asked, her voice like honey tea. Her smile was genuine, devoid of guardedness I had expected. Hesitantly, I agreed, finding solace in the simple act of chopping vegetables and setting the table. As we worked, she initiated a conversation about my period experience. A blush crept up my cheeks, surprised by her directness. Did Jay tell you?" I stammered, feeling my shyness return. She chuckled, a soft musical sound. "He tells me everything. He worries about you." The statement, delivered with such tenderness, sent warmth radiating through me. She continued, reaching into a drawer and producing a pack of sanitary napkins. It was the first time I had seen them up close, the reality suddenly hitting me. Shame flushed through me, but her hand patted mine reassuringly. "Don't be embarrassed, dear," she said. "It's a natural part of life, and if you ever need anything, even a listening ear, my door is always open." Her words, laced with kindness and understanding, pierced through the walls I had built around myself. In her, I saw not just a caregiver for the shy boy, but a potential confidant, a woman who could guide me through the confusing new chapter. "Thank you," I whispered, the gratitude welling up inside me. "You're wonderful." She squeezed my hand. "And so are you, dear. Remember, you're never alone." As the afternoon unfolded, laughter spilled into the room, weaving a tapestry of friendship and acceptance. The shy boy, no longer hidden in the shadows, joined in the fun, his quiet humor surprising and delightful. The aunt, ever present, ensured everyone felt welcomed and included. Leaving the house that evening, I carried with me not just memories of laughter and shared stories, but a sense of belonging. I realized that the wall I had built both around myself and the shy boy had been constructed out of fear and misunderstanding. In their place, a new foundation was being laid, one brick at a time, with kindness, acceptance, and the promise of genuine friendship. This unexpected bond, forged in the aftermaths of embarrassment and confusion, held the potential to reshape not just my friendship with the shy boy, but my entire understanding of myself and the world around me. As I walked home, the setting sun painting the sky in hues of orange and pink, a single thought echoed in my mind: maybe, just maybe, things really could be different. Back at home, the warmth of the shy boy's aunt lingered like the scent of freshly baked cookies. I surprised Dad with his favorite meal, and his surprised joy fueled a flicker of hope within me. He gently brought up meeting his fiancée again, but excuses tumbled from my lips like autumn leaves, fueled by fear I couldn't articulate. The following days found me drawn back to the shy boy's house, seeking the gentle wisdom and comforting presence of his aunt. We talked about everything: my anxieties, my confusion, and the growing pains of adolescence. She was the first woman I had ever truly connected with, a confidant who saw beyond my bravado and understood the storm brewing within. But amidst the newfound joy, a shadow loomed. Her upcoming wedding meant saying goodbye to the newfound heaven, a thought that brought a pang of sadness I struggled to understand. Simultaneously, Dad's constant request to meet his fiancée stoked the embers of my resistance. Finally, exhaustion claimed me. The constant avoidance chipped away at my resolve. Dad's disappointment hung heavy in the air, and guilt gnawed at me. With a sigh, I surrendered. "Okay," I mumbled, the word bitter on my tongue. "I'll meet her." But beneath the surface, a flicker of curiosity sparked. Could this woman vilified in my imagination be anything more than the caricature I had created? Could she perhaps hold the key of unlocking a future I hadn't dared to imagine? With a mix of apprehension and a silver of hope, I awaited the meeting, ready to face the unknown and navigate the complexities of family, friendship, and self-discovery one uncertain step at a time. Sunday dawned, filled with anticipation and a bit of nervousness. Dad took me to the fair, where he planned to meet his fiancée. I looked around, more interested in finding familiar faces than meeting someone new. Then I spotted them, Jay, the shy boy, and his aunt, looking surprised and happy. Excitement took me over, pushing aside my worries about meeting Dad's fiancée. I ran to them, shouting with joy, and hugged Jay's aunt tight. "Rani!" she exclaimed, hugging me back warmly. In her eyes, I saw not just happiness, but also understanding, as if she knew how important this meeting was to me. Dad came over looking puzzled. "Do you guys know each other?" he asked, sounding surprised. "Yes," I said, grinning mischievously. But then it hit me. Everyone around seemed to be wondering the same thing. Trembling with excitement, I turned to Dad. Is she my new mom?" Dad nodded, confirming my dream. Joy flooded through me, washing away all my worries. I jumped up and down, unable to contain my happiness, while Dad smiled broadly, his eyes shining with tears. "Mom," I cried, hugging her tightly. She laughed gently, a sound full of acceptance and love. Jay, watching quietly, chuckled and said, "You're my little sister now." And just like that, our family, once uncertain, was whole again. We weren't just individuals. We were a family bound by love, understanding, and a bit of luck. The fair, once a source of worry, became the place where our story began, showing us the beauty of life's surprises.